So it sounds like you are very, at least for now, optimistic on where things are going.
Generally, I mean, I don't know what qualifies as optimistic.
Okay.
I think there is a lot of progress ahead of us. I'm definitely not as optimistic as some people. There is this phenomenon. I live in London.
Okay.
And when I meet someone who's just come from San Francisco, they are like from a different universe, which is kind of interesting. So I'm like not following everything on the internet because I'm busy building the product. Thank you. So I'm not always aware of what people are like obsessing about on the internet. But it turns out, like when someone travels to the valley or just visits from SF, it looks like there is a completely different like bubble of hype over there, and people are thinking in super high level concepts, and as if they are already happening. Which is, I mean, things are being built to make these concepts possible, but we're not there yet, and by far. People are talking about like one-man show billion-dollar companies. Come on, we're not there yet. It may be possible someday. To be fair, I don't believe it will be possible for a long time. It will probably be possible for a short period of time when some people will have this unfair advantage of having mastered something.
Yeah, it's like when a lot of people have access, you can't all be billion-dollar one-man shows. Someone has to actually buy the product.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, the idea is that this kind of one-man show will be also selling the product on their own and building it and doing everything.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you can automate some things, but $1 billion is a lot of money. I'm not saying that we will not see a single person like that.
Sure,
we will not see a huge number of them for a long time. It will be a short period of time when this is possible, unless our money gets devalued so much that $1 billion is not much money anymore.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. If we're gonna do that, then yeah. Not exactly a fair way to solve it, but sure.
Right. Yeah. So, and people advocating for this kind of concept, some of them actually have the power to do this to the currency, or like are approaching the position of having that power. So that's not completely out of the question. So some things are sort of as ideas very graspable. And I think a lot of people sort of blow out of proportion how real they are already. And, for example, like my favorite learning from a few months ago, I think it was in January when I was looking through reports on adoption of different coding agents across the industry. And Claude Code was all the rage, and, people just discovered it. And so many people were like, everybody's using Claude Code. And I was reading the reports. And the number one AI coding tool in January was GitHub Copilot. And by a large margin.
I assume there's someone who's a web dev who's watching this who's going to understand exactly what I'm going to say here. I remember early React, early all of these like popular frameworks now, and people are like, oh my god, this framework's amazing. Every other week it was some new framework, and then you look up what the most popular library that people are using, and it's jQuery.
Right. Yes. Yeah, and it's, so there is this sort of hype that makes you think that everything's moving so fast.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But realistically, I'm talking to my friends who work for like leading companies in the industry, and they tell me how they got access to something like as basic as Claude Code at work last month. And this is real. Like, this is not something like exceptional, because a lot of big companies spent a lot of time making sure that this is not compromising their business, and just negotiating their deals and whatnot, and like trying to build something in-house. And a lot of stuff like that. So, this concept of, everybody on Twitter is talking about something is very different from the concept of, the industry has changed. The industry is starting to adopt those cutting edge technologies. The technologies look really cool, but we're not there yet. We have some time before this completely happens.
Right. You can always point to the startups who are doing crazy things because that's what startups do. But your HPs and your, I don't know, actually Meta's a bad example. Meta probably, but
Meta is trying to be at the forefront, but they also they're not adopting everything the minute, or
right.
They weren't 6 months ago.
But pick some boring generic software firm, right? Then they're not moving at the same pace as some 3-guy startup out of the garage.
True, yeah, but also not even a boring generic. Take someone as hip and cool as I don't know, Shopify.
Sure. Yeah.
People like that, and at the moment where everybody was Cursor was the biggest thing, and everybody thought that everybody was using Cursor. They were trying to implement these things. Those companies were trying to implement Cursor, and a lot of their engineers just weren't using it. And this is normal. People don't adopt new tools very quickly. It takes them time to learn. They don't find them useful in their specific use cases. And, it's one thing to say the founder of this very famous scale up or large unicorn startup is super optimistic about this tool. It's not the same as every engineer actually uses it every day.
Right.
It's the founder's role is to lead. And if they started leading this a week ago, nothing has happened yet.
Right. There can be a lot of we're doing a big investment into this, but have you actually convinced the people who actually who's supposed to be using the tool to actually adopt it? And not even just convince them. Have you given them... Is there a reason why they would want to, right? Have they been shown why it might even be useful in their workflow? And you made a good point that a lot of people haven't even played with these tools yet, right? We can talk about how people are learning how tokens work, learning how to use tokens, but if you've just never interacted with these, you've just been enjoying your developer job the past 4 or 5 years, you've not really been paying attention to the, what's happening, but you've not really experimented with these tools, you're at that same starting point that people were at 5 years ago.
True, yeah, and also as an engineer working at a real company with doing real business, you have a lot of responsibilities, and somebody hands you this toy. Yeah, great. I have a bunch of things I promised to do this week. Okay, so this toy looks kind of cool, but I don't really know how to use it effectively. It will take me time to ramp up, and maybe in a month from now, I'm super productive with it, and it's incredible. But today, I have my obligations. I have to deliver the things I promised to, and I'm not going to spend another hour learning that toy. And for some people, it's easier and they will do it over the weekend and whatnot. For some people, it just takes longer. And it's also another thing I noticed with agents specifically. Some people intuitively work a lot more productively with agents without learning as much as some other people. So, and those people are more vocal because they're more happy with their results. And they make it look like it's super intuitive and you don't really need to learn. But you do need to learn. These are tools. These are complicated tools that exhibit very complicated behaviors. And to really master those tools, most people need to learn. And we need to allow them the time to learn and better actually provide them some learning materials, which are not very systematic at the moment. So, but some people have this natural intuition and their results are incredible from the get-go, either because they just are lucky and their heads work like that, or because they were so excited in the beginning that they spent those hundreds of hours in a couple of weeks and just got this mastery out of that. Either way, it doesn't mean everybody will do the same.
What do you think it is that cause some people to sort of pick this up a lot quicker? Do you think it is this people who are more used to explaining what they're doing? Like, do you have any sort of thoughts on why some people sort of pick it up so quickly?
Well, I have some observations what I'm not like super sure about.
Mm.
So one thing that I've heard from a few people who are pretty productive with their agents is that what helps them is this kind of management skills they have. So they know how to formulate a task in a way that they will be able to check where the task has been completed correctly. And that's ingrained in their, like, it's either people who work with students a lot or just, managers who delegate a lot. They will, at least, those of them who are successful with agents attribute that to this skill. I'm not sure, whether this is just a confirmation bias or not, because people like to sort of devise theories for why things work out for them. So that's one thing. Another observation that I have is then when I ask people who are like super productive or like consider themselves super productive with agents to sort of help someone else to become productive, they kind of struggle to explain what they need to do, like, or what they're doing wrong. So it looks like there is this sort of neural network in their minds that kind of connected correctly, and it works for them, but they don't always have a very clear concept of what they need to tell another person for them to learn, which is generally not uncommon with a lot of skills. Like a lot of things, a person who's incredibly good at math is not always a very good math teacher.
Yep, I've definitely had those. There was a couple of professors I had who were definitely like that.
Yeah, and it's very understandable. Like empathetically, you can easily understand. How do you explain to someone how to walk?
Right.
You learn that before you've reflected very much, right? So you just walk. And you can, and we have expressions of like put one foot in front of the other, which we actually don't do. Like not literally, like we don't put a foot in front of the other foot. We put it a little bit to the side.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
yeah. That's.
So what I'm saying here is that there is something you can be incredibly good at, but you may not have a very good concept of like how you do it. You just do it.
It's something you maybe not intuitively understand, but
True,
for some things that's definitely true. You speak to anyone who's really good at the sport, for example, but you have this understanding of it, but you just don't know how to explain it to anyone. Simply put.